Welcome back to the channel, guys. Galletto Rossonero here with you. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. New start to the week, new rumors, one consistent name for the midfield. Who can it be? I'll let you know in a second. So we all know that Milan is looking for that sort of box-to-box midfielder, somebody to replace Benacer because he's injured, but also to replace Kessie, who they never really replaced, right? Because Pobega wasn't really it. Krunic does a lot of things, but he's not to that standard. And then Vranks and everybody else didn't really pan out for Milan last season. So at the beginning, they were saying Maldini, Massara going after Loftus-Cheek. That is dead apparently, of course, with Maldini leaving. And so Furlani Mokonda looking at a Serie A player. He's not necessarily a box-to-box midfielder. He's mostly known for his defensive work. Offensively, he's not that great. But in his first season in Serie A, he had an outstanding season, guys. 23-year-old Danish player plays for a newly promoted team who actually saved themselves this year. And he was one of the stars of this team. So Morten Hjulmand, very interesting player, a very interesting profile. Like I said, not really offensive, more defensive player, more of a physical player. Lots of energy, gives his 100% all the time, never stops running. I think next to Tonali could be an interesting pairing, but don't expect him to be this 10 goal scorer a season midfielder. That's not what he is. However, he had such an interesting season that a lot of teams started looking at him, and he's been turning a lot of heads. Juve, Borussia Dortmund at one point was looking at him to replace Bellingham. So he did have a very good season, guys. And so 35 games with Lecce in his first Serie A season, 4 assists to go along with that, no goals. But like I said, he would bring that physical aspect to the game that Milan is sort of missing in the midfield. Very tough opponent. Young, talented, that can still grow, which is what Milan is looking for. And so apparently Milan and Lecce started talks last week when they were talking about Colombo. Now we all know Lecce exercised their buying option, Milan counter option there on their side, bringing Colombo back to Milan. And so apparently they started talking price-wise. They're saying between 20 and 25 million euros. That's a bit steep, maybe, but maybe if they can insert a few contropartite, right? A few young players, bring the price down. If you go between 16 and 20, I think he might be worth that. More than that, you're stretching it a bit. We all know that Lecce and Milan have a good relationship. So could it actually work out? Could he be the right profile for Milan? It remains to be seen, guys, but I think this is all depending on what Thuram will say. Why? Because if Thuram says he comes to Milan, Milan has more money to spend on other players. If Thuram says no and they need to buy a big forward, somebody that's going to cost them 20, 30, 40 million euros, then they won't have enough money to do anything else. And so I think it's all dependent on that. We'll see what happens. But Hjulmand is an interesting profile, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe.